Sawadee Cup. Another day, another lesson, 4-hour work week. And while you were sleeping, while I was sleeping, well, I was up while you were sleeping. Tools of the Titans, baby. Tim Ferriss. I like he. I haven't cracked it yet. I've been busy dating. And the other new book, he actually had two new books after the 4-Hour Body and 4-Hour Chef. The other one is Tribe of Mentors. Just interviews. It's what he does on his blog. Interviews with wealthy, successful, interesting people. And then I got the 4-Hour Body. As you see, you get your page for your dollar with Tim Ferriss. He has trouble editing, so all his books are pretty thick, pretty large. They're not small books. But once again, he's very thorough. I've called him a scientist and a lab rat, curious bodybuilder. He got into cooking, 4-Hour Chef. I actually have that on order. They didn't have that locally in the Thai Amazon is called Lazada, Lazada for us, Lazada. And they didn't have that book, so I got all the ones from Lazada. And now I got the 4-Hour Chef coming from a different book suppository, whatever. All right, so the one that we've been reading from, let's stick with that. The Power of Pessimism, Defining the Nightmare. What? Is that right? Dodging bullets. More than a year later, he's getting unsolicited job offers. Is that what he'd been afraid of? Yeah, that's it. That's I would, but I can't throw it all away. The people who come down to see hands at this surf thing. Okay, the power of pessimism, defining the nightmare. So this is what not to do or what to avoid, or maybe this is the situation you're in now. Action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. Benjamin Disraeli, former British Prime Minister. So action doesn't always bring happiness, just like money doesn't always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without money, without action or money. Right? Both of them. I get it. A little bit of money, less than you think. Less than you think you need. To do or not to do. To try or not to try. Most people will vote no, whether they consider themselves brave or not. Uncertainty and the prospect of failure can be very scary noises in the shadows. Most people will choose unhappiness over uncertainty. It's interesting he's talking about that because Jeffrey, who I mentioned has the apparel business, and he's been watching the vids, and he actually got the book. He's reading the book on his own now too, which is cool. Talked about Tony Robbins and saying if there's two people in a conversation and one is certain and the other's not, you'll wind up winning the uncertain person over because of your certainty. Tony, good stuff, right? You got Tim, you got Tony, you got Warren Buffett. I mean, there's so many guys to lean on out there and to learn from. Napoleon Hill. There's lots and lots of good information out there that you need to absorb. So here he's talking about most people will choose unhappiness over uncertainty, which is very interesting. For years, I set goals, made resolutions to change direction, and nothing came of either. I was just as insecure and scared as the rest of the world. Interesting, because I wouldn't say scared is a word that defines him, especially now. So he grew, got out of his comfort zone and grew. The simple solution came to me accidentally 4 years ago. At the time, I had more money than I knew what to do with. I was making $70K or so per month. Pretty good. And I was completely miserable, worse than ever. I had no time and was working myself to death. That's that zombie thing we were talking about. Like when I was in Bank of America, I'd come out from my job at 7:30, because I would stay after we shut the phones down to finish up on emails and do extra work, just trying to make that money. So I'd come out 7:30 at night. Everybody else had gone home. Walk into the parking lot, and I was literally a fucking zombie. I was just nothing left in the tank. I gave it all to that fucking company that didn't deserve it, and they didn't pay me near enough for that. Just insecure, scared. I was completely miserable, working himself to death. I had started my own company, only to realize it would be nearly impossible to sell. Little cliff note here. This turned out to be yet another self-imposed limitation and false construct. Brain Quicken was acquired by a private equity firm in 2009. The process is described on 4hourblog.com. So he did sell the company. He made a shitload of money. That's why, ever since he's been writing these books. He gets to sit and write this book because he sold his company for a shit ton of money. Enough to make it not worth holding on to for the $70,000 a month. And I think actually he wound up making more at some point because he removed himself from it, right, when he had the nervous breakdown. Oops, I felt trapped and stupid at the same time. I should be able to figure this out, I thought. Why am I such an idiot? Why can't I make this work? Buckle up and stop being such a insert expletive. What's wrong with me? I'd put pussy. Buckle up and stop being such a pussy. That comes to my mind, but whatever. There's a lot of good words to put in there. What's wrong with me? The truth was, nothing was wrong with me. I hadn't reached my limit. I'd reached the limit of my business model at the time. Fucking huge right there. Right? It wasn't him. He wasn't the problem. It was his business model. And his business model was created with a small, confined subset of information in his brain. And his brain and your brain can get a lot bigger than that. It can hold a lot more information than that. But my business model at the time, it wasn't the driver, it was the vehicle. But I don't know about you guys, but I'm like boom, 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 boom. Like fireworks are going off in my head. Out fucking standing. It wasn't the driver, right? His business model, it was the vehicle, which he created. He built the vehicle like you can do on websites. Make it red, give me these tires, you know. He built the fucking vehicle, but then he realized at some point, and a lot of people never realize, he realized that it was the vehicle and it was the wrong one for him. Critical mistakes in its infancy would never let me sell it. I could hire magic elves and connect my brain to a supercomputer. It didn't matter. My little baby had some serious birth defects. The question then became, how do I free myself from this Frankenstein while making it self-sustaining? How do I pry myself from the tentacles of workaholism and the fear that it would fall to pieces without my 15-hour days? How do I escape this self-made prison? A trip, I decided, a sabbatical year around the world. So I took the trip, right? Well, I'll get to that. First, I felt it prudent to dance around with my shame, embarrassment, and anger for 6 months. Imagine that. He's being honest. He's being brutally honest, which helps you get through the shit that you've got to deal with to go through this process. All the while playing an endless loop of reasons why my cop-out fantasy trip could never work. One of my more productive periods for sure. So there he is arguing with himself about, why it's not a good idea just to take time off when it turned out to be the best thing in the world for him. Then one day, in my bliss of envisioning how bad my future suffering would be, I hit upon a gem of an idea. It was surely a highlight of don't happy, be worry. Don't worry, be happy. It's don't happy, be worry. Very, very clever, very cute. Why don't I decide exactly what my nightmare would be? The worst thing that could possibly happen as a result of my trip. Well, my business could fail while I'm overseas for sure. Probably would. A legal warning letter would accidentally not get forwarded and I would get sued. My business would be shut down. Inventory would spoil on the shelves while I'm picking my toes in solitary misery on some cold shore in Ireland. Crying in the rain. Imagine. Crying in the rain, I imagine. My bank account would crater by 80%, and certainly my car and motorcycle and storage would be stolen. He had a lot going on in his head. I just broke up with a lady today. We had one date. I just decided not to see her again today because she was just so negative. The way she thought was so outside my thinking. I just was like, we have no future. You've made it abundantly clear. She's depressed, she's sad, and then boom, money. I owe the bank 50,000 baht. Now, 50,000 baht is, what, $1,500. It's not a huge amount of money. And if I had met her more than once, if we were dating, if that was my girlfriend, even 1 month into the relationship, which might sound crazy to you, I would have helped her. I would have helped her with this problem. And I kept trying to say to her, okay, you owe 50,000 baht, what's the payment? Because, you know, once again, if we were dating, which we're not, we had one date, we met, I liked her, wanted a second date, you know, you got to focus on the problem, which is the payment. If you owe $50,000, what's the monthly payment? $1,200, $2,000? What's the payment? Because that's the problem. See, she didn't understand. The problem wasn't the 50,000. Once again, here, baht, there, just say dollars. That's not the problem. The problem is the monthly payment. You got to make a monthly payment not to get in trouble with the bank. So solve the problem, fix the problem. That's how I think. And she just, you know, oh, COVID's bad. And, you know, I asked you to buy a mask from me online and you didn't support me. Like, honey, a mask isn't going to make the fucking payment. Do you understand? You're thinking small. And once again, the more we talked, the more I saw that she thought small. She, typical Thai lady, where's the money in my hand? Buy 100 baht mask from me. 100 baht doesn't solve your fucking problem, sweetheart. You got much bigger problems than a stupid fucking mask. So I just, goodbye. Ain't nobody got time for that, guys. If you're dealing with somebody who's a mental weakling, if you love them, it's one thing. You'll do everything you can to help them and try to teach them and fix their mistakes, but it's way too early in the relationship. And what made me cut bait, because you know, I'm patient. She's been negative for a couple of days now. Probably I was supposed to see her today for lunch, second date. She's been negative. I'm like, man, this girl's just, it's work. It's hard work to be with her. Kept coming up with, you know, she's depressed and, you know, she's worried about COVID, fear, which a lot of people are, and all that. So I didn't dump her until I said, what's the monthly payment? Trying to get her to fix the problem. 25,000 baht. But it's half the money. I'm like, it was a balloon. Like, I just, at that point, I'm like, okay, I've had one date with this girl. It went great, but, you know, she's basically hitting me up for 25,000 baht. And I'm just, best of luck to you. Good luck. I hope you find a rich and stupid Farang, right? Foreigner. But I'm neither of those. I'm not rich and I'm not stupid. So, goodbye. She gone. So, very interesting. The way that worked. Car motorcycle storage would be stolen. I suppose someone would probably spit on my head from a high-rise balcony while I'm feeding food scraps to a stray dog. He's got a very vivid imagination. You give him that. The imagery that comes from his head is pretty interesting. Which would then spook and bite me squarely on the face. God, life is cruel. Life is a cruel, hard bitch. Well, yeah, if you're thinking that way. There with the books, it came a cute little holders. They're my electric bill. I get to use the cute little kitty cat now to mark my place. That's it. We're already at it. Oh shit, 13 minutes. That's because I went off on the girl thing. And yeah, my biggest regret with her, I did like her. I did feel like that was somebody I could date. But I feel that way about a lot of women. So there was nothing special about her. It was a good first date. But man, that body, she was short, which I like, but she was thick. And normally if you're like, do you like petite or you like thick? I'm petite. I would answer hair trigger right away. But this girl's not petite. She was thick is a good, because she's not fat. She's not Kardashian with the fucking giant ass, which I don't like, or even J-Lo. But just thick. Thick is a good word. I know the kids use it today and all that, but yeah, like in between skinny and fat, there's that juicy, right? They talk about asses, juicy, thick, whatever. Thick's a good word. So I was interested. She caught my eye. She got my attention. But then I talked to her, and oh, God, shut the fuck up. You're depressed. You're sad. You're scared. You're just all the wrong things. And you know what the right thing is? Strawberry yogurt. So the guy from Burn Notice, Michael Weston, right? He ate blueberry yogurt like 4 or 5 times a day. I'm a strawberry guy. Huge, creamy, delicious hunks of real strawberry in there. Now, that's nice. Just fucking hit the mic. You yank the phone down. You notice the size. My head. So I eat 4 of these fuckers, right? Which is like 1 or 2 cups of yogurt back in the States. So, obviously got to make up for the size difference. But yeah, nice healthy breakfast. No eggs and bacon today. I'm at 117 even. Lost another half a kilo, 1.1 pounds. So it's going slow. 258 pounds. I'm happy to be in the 250s. It's been a long time since I've been in the 250s, but it's a grind. It's taken a long time to lose the weight, but I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. So it continues. Nuggets from Timmy. He talked a lot about his business, Brain Quicken. You know the end. He sold it for a lot of money. Now he's sitting back writing books, traveling all over the world, living the life. So once again, hope that somebody gets a nugget in here. Maybe even the quick thing I did on Tony Robbins that Jeffrey shared with me about one person being certain and the other being uncertain. You can usually bring them along, but like I said, unfortunately with this woman, she wasn't coming for the ride. She was stuck in the mud. You can't save them all, right? That's what doctors say. You can't save them all. It's true.